A year ago I set about restoring an old Harmony 420 tube amp, and I found that the speaker, although it still worked, had a torn cone around the outer circumference. So first I considered buying a replacement, but that was going to be quite expensive if I bought the same speaker. So I checked online, and a few videos of people fixing the speakers, so I thought, let's give it a try. And fortunately the results been outstanding. So I hope this can give anybody confidence who's going to try this. Give me the thumbs up and subscribe if you like this content. And I also replaced the Tolex and the speaker cloth, so you can see that in other videos that I'm going to be posting later. Right now, here's what I did with the speaker. Cruise out. Okay. That's a bit stiff. Oh, it's dead. Oh, turned it off. Alright, try again. All right, let's see if we can get this out. See if this will come out easy. Okie dokie, it's falling off the edge. Okay, so this. There we go. Well, that's an easy one. These off. These are loose. That. And let's see what we've got here. Some damage here. We'll fix that. So now, if you've ever done any welding, then you might be familiar with the concept of tack welding, where you fasten certain sections and then you weld between, you put a tack to hold something in place. So I'm going to do that same thing. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to try to pull these parts together and use some CA glue, this kind of super glue, crazy glue, and use an activator. So that way I can tack different parts of this speaker cone, and then I'm going to go and patch it. Once I've got this kind of back in the shape that it's supposed to be in, I'll go back over it with some wood glue, some diluted wood glue, and some fine toilet paper. So let's see if that concept works. I'm going to try and apply as little as possible of this glue and just hold it in place. So let's try that. So right here, got that point right there. Looks like it's kind of close to what it was originally. So let's see if I can get a tiny drop of this CA glue. I've got some on there. That should be okay, so this evaporates very quickly. That wasn't enough. Darn it. Okay. Alright, let's try this again. Now, problem is I don't want this to make a big blob on the speakers. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, let's do a bigger area like that. More time to soak in. Maybe the best way is just to leave it. I don't have anything that I can spread this out with. Maybe I should do that. Try and spread this. Actually, looks like it's already activated. Okay, so that has actually activated. So I'm going to go along here like this. Do the same thing over here. See if I can match these. There. Okay. Let's see. I mean, I could just wait for this, but by blasting it with this, it sets within a few seconds. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm going to try and get two at once here. Let's see, because there's a split here and there's a split going along there. Thick. Okay. Right, now let's try over here. here. I can push up on this. This looks like it's still together in this area. How about over here? So this one is lifted, and I should be able to just put a blob on there. Okay, that's looks like it's holding. So I'm going to do this all the way around. Alright, so this part here, I'm going to try and hold this together. And I can see right through there. Alright, so I'm going to hold this together like this. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to do this all the way around. So now for this next real piece of innovation here, what I'm going to do is take some of this toilet paper. I'm going to show you a really incredible trick here. And that trick is we take one leaf of the toilet paper, and what I want to do is we want to be able to have that fit the profile of this speaker. So here's the tip. On this edge here, just lay this out along the edge. And what we can do is we'll just start to tear this. Hold it down with your finger. And this is, I'm claiming this as the Chamly method, all right? Okay, so this is the Chamly method of fixing torn speakers. All right. Now, if you take a look at that, that is, it's going to fit. I mean, there's a few edges like this, and then what we can do is do the same thing again. So I'm going to do it over here. So we want a piece that can go from there to about here. All right, so just make that maybe 3/4 of an inch, something like that. Let's see how that works. And then we just go ahead and just tear along this edge. Now, I haven't perfected this technique yet because I just invented it. So let's see how this works. Okay, there we go. So that's a very thin single ply sheet, and I don't mind mentioning the brand. This is Scott's toilet paper, but you could do this also with some other toilet paper. Just make sure you have a single leaf of it. So that's not bad. I mean, I could pick at that, take these little pieces off. Perhaps we don't need quite so much there. And then the next step is going to be to get some thin glue, and I have a little brush somewhere. There's a little brush here that came with this. This is it's called Nuve Call. It could be any wood glue. This is a little bit light. I'm going to mix it with some water, and I'm just going to paste these papers over here. And the idea is I'm just trying to use the minimum amount of paper. So these fibers are going to give the glue some strength. All right. So that's one piece. I'm going to try and put one piece on first, and then we'll just do it one by one. Just overlap them and go all the way around. So everything is tacked right now with the CA glue. All right, so I'm trying this in real time. I've got some. See here, I've got some white glue. I'm mixing with water. This paste may be a bit too pasty. I don't know. I would say that's probably 2 to 1. I'm going to see how it goes. So it's just a very watery wood glue paste. And let's see how this works. So what I'm thinking is I might just so this is going to cover this much area, right? So I'm going to put some wood glue on from there to there. How about that? Just put this on first and then lay the paper on top of it and see how that works. All right, let's try that. Let's put a little bit more on there. All right, let's let that soak for a little bit. And where does it start to crack? Right there. Should take a little bit more. Well, it looks like it starts to split over there. So, let's hope my microphone still on? Yeah, still on. Still on. Right. So I'm going to try and just drop this on there. And see if I can follow that around. Wow, look at that. Along the edge there. Okay, now that seems to have just gone in place very easily, and it's also coming away very easily. This is interesting. So if I want to put some more on this. So this is a single ply, so it's coming up very, very easy. If I brush it, it's like I've got a missing patch there. I might go over that again. Right. Not a problem. So I'm going to go this side. Okay, this is also coming away a little bit, which may not be bad. Playing this by ear, which is what we do. So I'm just going to tack it in place a little bit more. Except a little bit there. I'll take this away anyway. Alright, so I'm taking away the excess there. And I'll put another piece over there. How about that? So these pieces should just come off. Alright, so now that's up to there. I'm going to take another piece, which I cut previously if I still have it. This one. Oh no, that was the... Okay, now here's another one. Oh, okay, here we go. So, actually I think I'll use this piece to go... I'm going to let that dry. I'll let that dry. And this next piece is actually a thinner piece than before, so I'm just going to continue this around. Some glue on. Very diluted glue. Let's see if I can just lay that on top of there. I'm outside and it's a little bit windy. Yeah. Come on. Makes it more interesting, right? Makes it more fun. So I just let that go over the area where it was split. Let's see, that's going to work. All right, now see if I can do this without, so I'm just going to have to dab this. And I think because this is very diluted, a lot of this water is going to just evaporate. And what we'll be left with is the glue. And on this side, we're going to be very careful just to dab this, looks like. So basically we're just adding some fibers to give this a little strength along the joint. Now you might think, why don't you just use crazy glue, the CA glue, all the way along? But what I've found with crazy glue is it becomes hard and it's kind of brittle. So what I think with this is this is going to actually add some fibers which will have a little strength along the area where it got split. Alright, so as I'm doing this, looks like that's better than this one, so I'm going to keep going and I'll probably come back. I might just take this off and redo that. And I'm going to clean up here a little bit. And possibly that paper is going to shrink too once it dries out. We'll see. I'm going to continue, do the whole thing, and then we'll see how it looks when it dries. Now here's my somewhat ugly looking speaker repair. It's glued it all together, and I think it might do. You know, we'll find out in when we get back this all assembled into the amp again. But right now what I'm doing is I'm just going to mask this area. I'm going to spray this with some, I've got some leftover paint from something. It's just maybe there's, I don't know if there's any in it, but there may just be enough to make this look like it's not to make this look a little bit less ugly. So I'm going to put some, just mask this area off so that I don't get paint on the main cone, which it doesn't need to be. I'm just trying to make it look a little pretty. So let's see how this works. And I'm going to spray the rest of it just to try and match it up. And I might even just leave that little bit, and if it needs a bit more, there's a little bit left in the can. So I take this away. It's actually not that bad. And if you don't really see this, but if it does show a little bit through the speaker cloth, then it's made it dark so that it wouldn't really show up so much. So I decided to spray this. It's looking actually pretty good. Now that the speaker cone is repaired, and I did some testing with the amp, I found that there's actually, this part is actually separated from the metal, and I think it was originally glued down. And now I know that once these are clamped together, it's going to probably hold it fine, but I don't want to take any chances on this, just in case it's not totally held down by the screws. So what I'm going to do is use some Gorilla Glue, and I'm going to put a piece of wood and just clamp this down, just to make that as secure as it should be. So this stuff actually expands. It's great stuff. It really does bond pretty well. Now I blew this out with a compressed air gun. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to squirt this as well as I can, and I put it all along the edge there and try and get it underneath. This is the worst side. I may try and do it after I've done one. It's going to take an hour or so to dry, and it tends to come up like a foam. So it's kind of like one of those type glues that it just expands a little bit. So, but as long as it's clamped down, the biggest concern is that I don't want it to lift up while it's setting and cause this surface to be lifted. So putting this stuff in place, and so I've got this in there. This will go down, and hopefully that will work very well. So I'm going to just use up the tube, because I think once you use one of these tubes, that's pretty much it. Or perhaps I might leave some. I'm just going to leave some, put the cap on. I think it'll be good for the other side. But the alternative, I was thinking to try to lift this up, but I just don't want to go to that trouble and also risk damaging the speaker even more. So I think this will do the job. All right, so it's got a bunch of that in there. Put the cap on, and perhaps I'll do the other side after, but I'm just going to put this is a fairly straight piece of wood. I checked it. And hopefully that's going to hold this down. Just put a little bit of pressure on here. I changed my mind about how I'm clamping this. I'm going to put this on here like this with a piece of plywood. Hopefully the glue doesn't expand and get onto the plywood and stick it to the speaker. That would be kind of a mess, but let's take our chances. Okay, and I think that should, I wish I could clamp this. I'm going to try and clamp this down too. Need to find another clamp. This is how it turned out, and at the time of posting, I didn't have chance to edit my other videos that show the other things that I did, including the Tolex and putting the speaker cover. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit that like if you like this, and stay tuned for some more videos where I show you how good this speaker sounds now that it's been fixed. Take care, see you soon.